Right. Greetings, Google and Instagram and Facebook and Twitters and all those other little silly places people play around in. This is our very first episode of The Art of Effortless Being. And this started out with me and a teacher training student and has turned into a party. Okay, so we got 3 girls over there in Maine, and we got 2 girls here in Dallas, Texas, and 1 silly little boy. What is he doing with all these women? Goodness.
Sounds smart to me.
Okay, right? Right? Line up, guys. I'll teach you how to do it.
There you go.
Okay, so girls to me are here because they were both interested in effortless being as well, but I realized it would make it easier to teach you guys what I'm going to be teaching you guys as well, so we can all kind of go through this together. Does that sound awesome for everybody?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I can't get signed release forms or whatever because you're not here, but I would like for everybody to realize this is Google. Hello, everybody. This is YouTube. It's all live. People can watch it right now. It's recorded. People will probably watch it in the future. So if you talk about stuff, you understand that you're talking about it in public. Does everyone understand that? Does everyone accept that?
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Now, the beauty of that for me is that I have been teaching people for years as a part of all types of healing that you need to get over your idea of secrets. You need to get over your idea of fear of people knowing anything about you. And the reason is that is a layer of division you are creating within yourself, okay? And as long as you're afraid of people knowing something about you, you are carrying a judgment inside of yourself inherently, okay? And it's not about the other people, it's about the judgment that you've created inside. And when you allow yourself to share even one secret publicly, right, and I've been doing this for a long time, the same thing always happens. Instead of people going, oh, you're a bitch, or you're stupid, or you shouldn't have done that, people go, oh, wow, that's incredible, the same thing happened to me, that's so brave of you to share that, oh, wow, how can I learn more about, that's what happens when you share yourself honestly. Nobody runs around pointing fingers when somebody is being genuine and being honest. People can feel it. And even haters stop being haters. And that's all we're here to be. Nobody's trying to be a drama queen. This is not a cry-off. We're not trying to get on Oprah, whatever. Some of us are going to cry because some of us need to cry, right? And some of us don't need to cry, and we can have profound releases and experiences without needing to go there. My point here in this, what I'm calling orientation, is to understand that it's very, very important to put yourself out there, to not need to hoard secrets, okay? And that'll become evident before we're done with the work we're going to do today as to why that's important and why it's beautiful that we're doing it in this live format where people can actually see as it's happening and take part in it with us. Okay, so the main thing, we did orientation last week for half of the group. There were 3 of us total, and now there's 6. So I want to do mini orientation this week as quickly as possible. And I don't have the verbiage up here, but that's okay because I can just explain it extemporaneously. So what the effortless being process is a simplified process of, what did you call operationalized Zen? It's operationalized Zen, okay? So Zen is one of my favorite traditions in history, but it's taught very boringly and very traditionally, and there's no reason that it needs to be. And I'm a circus brat, and so I just started playing with the concepts of Zen, and more importantly than the concepts of Zen, I started playing with the feelings of Zen, the experience of Zen, because most teachers that talk about Zen talk about the concepts of it, and that's pointless. It doesn't matter. The point of Zen is not thinking about it or philosophizing about it. The point of Zen is feeling peace in your being, like right now. And people spend years and years and years sitting straight up and letting a dude hit them with a stick to try and get to a place where they go, oh, I'm not creating bullshit for myself anymore. I'm not creating drama for myself anymore. Thanks. I appreciate that. But it doesn't have to take 15 years, okay? It's very, very simple to create peace, and all it takes is acceptance. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very simple to create peace. All it takes is acceptance. That's the formula right there, acceptance. So everything we're going to do tonight is just games of acceptance, okay? Just like theater games. I grew up doing theater stuff. I'm a director, you know. I grew up doing circus stuff. We're just going to play a bunch of games. It's just that simple. And if you let yourself really exist inside of the game the same way you let yourself really become a lion when you were little, you know, or really become a controlling bitch in the theater play, if you let yourself really embody the experience, then you're gonna have the experience, right? That's how it works. And once you've had all these experiences, you don't need to talk about them. You don't need the philosophy. You don't need the whatever. And in my experience, all of the things that you guys are all carrying, which we lump together in a nice word we call baggage, all the baggage you guys are all carrying that you believe separates you from this internal peace, this internal acceptance, none of that shit's going to matter once you're in a space of feeling peace. You understand what I'm saying? Like you don't get into that space of peace and then go, oh, but my dad was an asshole. It doesn't matter if your dad's an asshole when you're experiencing peace. You don't care. You don't care what your mother did to you. You don't care what your husband or your boyfriend or none of it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you all have stories, and I have lots of techniques to play with and change your relationship to those stories. And most of you have experienced at least a couple of those techniques. But that's like spot cleaning a room. And what this process is going to be doing is just like stripping away the whole house, right? The whole house is artificial. So you don't need to bother cleaning it, okay? And the way we're going to do that is through movement, meditation, and breathing, right? We're going to move the body. We're going to meditate. We're going to center the mind. All meditation is just controlling the mind's experience. Anything that controls the mind's experience is literally a meditation. And we're going to do it with breath work, because breath is the easiest way to shift the frequency of the body, as well as the easiest way to shift the state of the mind. Is everybody on the same page? Did everybody get that?
Yeah.
Any questions so far? How come my students never have any questions?
Because you're doing good.
Explained so thoroughly.
Oh, this
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I can't tell. I feel like it's a bunch of sheep with glazed eyes. Like, sure.
It's because Nikki's not here. She always has questions.
I guess. Say what?
Because Nikki's not here. She always had questions.
Always has questions. I miss Nikki and her questions.
And she's hula hooping tonight. She really wanted to do this, but
I said hello. Tell her she can do it online. It'll work just as good.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm shooting for here. That's the goal. And if I don't hit it, I will refine and I will get closer next time. Okay, so no questions. That's orientation. You guys all understand what the goal is here tonight. I want to focus on tonight rather than what the whole process is going to be. Like, it doesn't matter what's coming next. What's important is what we're going to do right now. And so to start this off, I'm going to do a quick little presentation. Whittled down, there's still a whole lot of information. So I'm going to go ahead and do this screen share thing and let me know if you guys can see. Can you guys see my little Merbob now, Art of Effortless Being?
yes.
Awesome.
Yay.
Okay, so as we go through this, try not to read ahead, but you know, you really can't help it, so there'll be words on the pages, but try to stay with me and best inside of presence, because that's what we're here to do. All right, so the Art of Effortless Being is just 5 steps, and these icons are symbols. Does everyone know what a symbol is?
Yes, something that represents something.
Nice, very well put. A symbol is anything that represents something else. Okay? Now, what makes symbols so powerful is that they are encoded information. Just like computers, just like what computers do, symbols do the same thing. And they can be used to encode all kinds of information. And you can use a symbol to encode a very small piece of information, like the letter A, or you can use a symbol to encode something with a very large amount of information, like the ohm symbol. Everyone know what the ohm symbol is?
Yeah.
Yes.
That tattoo you see on the back of yogis' necks all the time. They really love to put it on the back of their necks.
I do. On a bracelet that I wear. Yeah.
So symbols are encoded information, and these 5 symbols represent the steps that we're going to go through to create a state of effortless being. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Got step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. And, you know, just because I'm awesome, each symbol actually represents what you're going to be doing inside of your mind. So can you all sort of understand what each of these steps is going to entail?
Well, I'll guess. You have the whole.
Say what?
You have the whole.
The whole brain? The whole mind?
And what's this one?
And this is where you realize within the whole there's separate. There's I thinking the self.
Yes, division. Then
And
step 3.
third one. Anybody else want to guess on the third one?
Nope. I
Nice,
have no guess.
nice try. Julie guessed peace. You'd need an extra line. This is the Trinity. These are the hemispheres of the mind. This is yin and yang. This is the Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, the body, mind, and spirit. You know, like every yin yang wu ji, you know, every tradition throughout time has the Trinity. And then this is understanding that all three of those experiences have a place of meeting, a place of harmony, where there is no difference in each aspect. We release all of the boundaries, all of the distinctions between all of it. Okay, so now we got one of my favorite old school little, I love, I don't know if you'd call it a parable or what do they call it? No, it's not an analogy. I think it's a parable. Because parables are like about animals and stuff, right?
Well, a parable can be any story about something that represents a thought or
So it's just like a
a
symbol.
lesson. Yeah.
It's just like a symbol, but it's a story.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one of my favorites. Once upon a time, there was a wise old alley cat. Without a nickel to his name, he was considered a master by everyone in the neighborhood. One day he was lounging on a dumpster when he noticed a young kitten chasing his tail endlessly in circles. "What are you doing, son?" the young cat replied. "I've just returned from cat school, and I learned 2 important lessons there. First, above all else, cats just want to be happy. And second, happiness lives inside my tail. When I catch it, I will be happy for the rest of my life." His old cat laughed and said, "I didn't have the honor of cat school instruction, but you know what I learned? You're right. Happiness does live inside my tail. But if I just do what comes naturally, it follows me everywhere I go." So what's the moral of this story, guys?
You don't need to catch it to be happy.
Right. It's within you. It's always there. You've always had it. You catch it. It's part of you.
Right? But everybody is chasing it.
Yes.
Oh, everybody's chasing it.
Everybody is chasing happiness. Everybody is trying to find happiness somewhere else
External.
in any number of ways, whether it's seeking enlightenment, whether it's seeking money, whether it's seeking fame, whether it's seeking weight, whether it's seeking companionship. Okay? All of those are just different attempts at being happy, at creating happiness, at achieving satisfaction.
Okay.
But you're never going to find happy anywhere outside yourself. So that's the first thing I want everyone to understand is that you can't get it outside. You can't get happiness outside. And if you can understand that and buy into that premise, then everything we're going to do tonight is going to work way better, right? This stuff will still work. It'll still change your life. But if you can understand that you will not find happiness outside, you will not find enlightenment outside, you will not find completion outside, you will get... Okay, so the first concept in terms of finding happy, in terms and this thing that keeps searching, is yin and yang. Yin and yang represent the exchange of positive and negative energy, which creates all experience. Yin represents the negative polarity as well as the soft, feminine, cold, dark, and wet characteristics of nature. Yang represents the positive polarity as well as the hard, masculine, hot, bright, and dry characteristics of nature. In the body, yin represents the inhale, while yang represents the exhale. Oxygen is the most important nutrient in the body, and controlling the breath is the easiest way to control the mind. Pranayama, or breath control, and mental visualization are the backbone of the effortless being process. Everybody get that?
Yep.
Understand yin and yang?
Yes.
Would you like to understand the difference between a thought and an experience?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Awesome, because that's what this is all about. Deep inhale.
Then we're in, right?
Right, exactly, you're in. But deep, deep inhale, and then a very, very deep exhale. Good, now close your eyes. Inhale again, and notice how this feels different from the exhale.
He didn't stop for me, did he?
No.
Notice that the pressure in the body feels different. Notice that the direction of the flow of air feels different. Any other differences you notice between the inhale and the exhale?
There's a release with the exhale. With the inhale,
Hold on, we got one here, Nancy. What was that?
That when you inhale, there's a coolness,
A coolness on the inhale
and there's a warmth on the exhale.
and a warmth on the exhale. Very, very good point. Yin is cool, yang is hot. Beautiful, thank you. What were you saying, Nancy?
that as I exhaled, there was a release, like
Mm-hmm.
pressure was relieved, while the inhale was refreshing.
Right, right. Yang is always pressure being relieved because it's expulsion. Yang is projection. Yang is energy moving out. Yin is gathering in. It's pulling in of energy. It's soft. It's nurturing. Okay, so what was the difference between thinking about yin and yang and actually experiencing it?
That's the difference. I mean,
We gotta have more than that.
well, you experienced it because you did it. Where you're thinking about it, you haven't done it. That,
Yes, but I want a more tangible.
The experience is more instructional than the theory is.
I would say the reverse. The
Um,
theory is instructional, whereas the experience is more tangible. It's more visceral. Does that make sense?
and I think that what it is I have to see it. I have to touch it. I have to know what it feels like in order to. I'm a that kind of person. Tactile person.
Right. Exactly, and that's what we're talking about. And it's very, very important for this process for all of you to understand the difference between a thought and an experience. So
Well,
let's
it can manipulate an experience, though, can't it?
say what?
A thought can manipulate your experience, can't it?
yeah.
I think that my breath being drawn in is choking me. That's a poor experience, even though it might not be.
Right. No, no, exactly. But the point here is that, especially in the last couple hundred years, and especially in the West, we have created a new church, and it's the church of the mind. It's the church of thought, and we believe in thought as though it were God, as though it were something real, right?
Yes.
And it is not something real any more than our bodies make it real. And we have to understand the difference between the thought and the experience, because that's what's going to give us the ability to use our thoughts to change our experience. Is everybody on board? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yes.
So we have to understand the difference because we're going to use one to create the other. Next concept we're going to move to, this is still yin and yang, but now we're moving deeper into thought, okay? And we'll talk about what thought is in a minute. Fear and desire are the emotional equivalent of yin and yang. 2,500 years ago, the Buddha said that attachment and aversion are the cause of all suffering. These are the two primary motivations for every action we take. Fear pushes us away from certain things, aversion, and desire pulls us towards others, attachment. The problem with fear and desire is that neither create lasting satisfaction. On the contrary, no amount of safety can tame fear, and no amount of possession can quench desire. There are always more things to want and be afraid of. True contentment comes from learning that both fear and desire are fleeting emotional patterns which cannot be satiated. I repeat, true contentment comes from learning that both fear and desire are fleeting emotional patterns which cannot be satiated. No questions, but some whispers.
Oh, because we thought you had stopped.
We thought it had cut out again,
Yeah.
so we were waiting.
Oh, got you. No, I was waiting because this is a very...
If we seem a little confused, it's because it cuts in and out, and we just kind of sit here and go, oh, shoot, it just cut out again.
So,
So we missed the part where you said, are there any questions?
yeah, we missed that part.
Well, I'm sorry. That's a bummer. Hopefully that won't be cut out of the recordings.
No.
So I was pausing for effect and as well any questions, clarifications, because I mean all of this stuff is important, but this is really, really important because this is beginning to get into meaning.
Yeah, I think the main point here at the very end is that there will always be things that you're going to want or desire. You're always going to have things that you're afraid of, and you just have to realize that and let it go, not build your life around it.
And not harbor it.
Yes. If you mean there will always be things to desire and there will always be things to fear, yes. But don't start from the premise that you will always be afraid of things and you will always be desiring things. Does that distinction make sense to you?
Yes.
There will always be more things to want. There will always be more things to be afraid of. But you have to understand that you create the desire and you create the fear.
Yes.
And you can't get satisfaction from either one of them. They are endless self-fulfilling prophecies. Fear will always create more fear, and desire will always create more desire.
Yes.
Everybody on board?
Yeah.
Good.
And there's a fear of desire.
Say that again?
There's a fear of desire as well.
Yes, and what do you think that does energetically?
Yeah.
That's like a hurricane.
Really screws with you.
Yeah.
That's like a hurricane. Fear's not going to go anywhere, and neither is
You're really screwed then.
right.
What if?
Mm-hmm.
I do that sometimes.
So now we're going to look at what these two things are, the yin and yang, which is basically division, right? Polarity, positive and negative, hot and cold. Then we discussed fear and desire, which are basically the two most primal emotions we can have. Everybody get that?
Yes.
They're the most primal emotions, meaning every other emotion you conceive is a flavor of fear. Got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody find an emotion that's not a flavor of one of those?
No.
Can you find an
Emotion is
that's
not a flavor of fear or desire. They're all somewhat
connected?
right.
Just different frequencies, different
Right.
different colors of fear and desire. So now we need to look at what an emotion actually is. My definition of emotion is the body's reaction to the thoughts of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody get that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Emotions are the body's reactions to the thoughts of the mind. And Everyone thinks of emotions as being ephemeral things. They're not ephemeral, they're feelings, they're sensations. But what is it that creates the sensation? The thought. Okay? And that's where we begin to get into meaning. It's the meaning that we give to things that create the emotions we experience. Okay? So now we're going to look at my diagram, my infographic of emotion. You got the body, the mind, and the spirit. And emotion is energy that's trapped in between the body and the mind. The body creates a sensation. The mind interprets a meaning for that sensation. Then the body matches the meaning we've created as it's designed to, creating more sensations, which then get interpreted all over again. The sensation of this trapped energy is what we call emotion. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
This cyclical pattern keeps us thinking the same thoughts and creating the same feelings, which in turn lead to the same actions we've taken over and over, as long as we keep creating the same meanings. But when we change the meaning, we change the feeling. And when we change the feeling, we change the actions. Any questions?
Nope.
No, that's good.
Does everybody get how incredibly relevant and important this is?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely.
Yes.
And everybody understands the difference between sensation and meaning, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference? Body versus mind, feeling versus thought, tangible versus intangible. We're going to use intangibility to change our tangible experience. That's the experience of mind over matter. And so speaking of mind over matter, I don't have the graphic ready for this, but where's my hangout? I lost my hangout. There it is. But we are going to, how do I come out of it? That little button there. Can you guys see us again?
Yes.
Hello! Okay, so we're going to do a really quick exercise to demonstrate mind over matter. Does that sound fun?
Yes.
Now, what if I told you I could change the shape of your body in a couple of minutes just with your thinking? Would you believe me?
Yep.
Ha!
Oh, yeah, 'cause I've
No.
seen it. I've actually seen it where I'm like,
So long.
you know?
I say no.
You'd say no. Who said yes?
I did.
So long. You don't
I've seen
mess
it
around,
myself.
right?
Because if you close your eyes and you picture yourself a different way, you see yourself that way. You mentally see yourself that way. And if you close your eyes and somebody says, "This is how I see you,"
Yeah, but that's not
you
a
bel-
physical change.
it's not a physical change, it's a mental change.
Right, but I'm talking about a physical change.
I say no.
Okay, awesome. I love it. I love playing with skeptics.
It's
Okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to line your hands up, look at your hands, and find that line, the last big line on your wrist, and you're going to line them up perfectly.
They're going to move my bracelet.
Take off my.
This big line right here.
Got extra wrinkles, it doesn't matter. What's important is that they're the same ones that you line up.
Like you've gone to.
It's the same ones that you're going to line up next time. It doesn't matter which is the last one, which one's bigger, it doesn't matter. You just want to line it up in a way that you'll be able to line up the same way, and you're going to do this. And you're going to make sure that line up the middle of the hands is perfectly straight, because we don't want to do that. Make sure that line in between the hands is perfectly straight. Boom, boom, boom. And you're going to look and see if one of your fingers is just a little bit longer than the other. And my left is always a good bit longer, like half a fingernail longer.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have a longer one?
Mm-hmm.
It's your left also? You're going to work with your right hand. Do you have a longer one?
My left.
Left.
On your right, so you're going to work with your left hand. Ladies, you're going to work with whichever hand has the shorter finger. Everybody know which hand that is?
Yeah.
Does anyone not have a shorter finger? Is anybody's fingers perfectly aligned? That's perfectly okay if it is. Knows what finger they're going to work with?
I got a shorter finger. We all got a shorter finger.
Yeah.
All have a shorter finger. Okay, perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stand up and we're going to keep our heads in the frame so we're not cutting our heads off. Stretch your hips out, because Lord knows I need it after sitting on the floor for 30 minutes. Okay, so remember which hand you're working with. I'm working with my right hand, that's my shoulder finger. Everybody got the hand they're going to work with. Both hands down at your sides. Now you're only going to work with that hand we talked about. You're not going to do this with both hands. You're only doing it with the hand that has the shorter finger. Close your eyes. And you're going to take a deep inhale, and with your exhale, feel your breath spilling out through your fingers. Feel your breath spilling out through your fingers, and your fingers relaxing and growing down like branches with that exhale. Again, inhale. With your exhale, really imagine your fingers growing down even further. Like in my mind, I see branches growing and sprouting. Feel those fingers reaching down towards the earth. And see how far you can imagine. With each exhale, let that hand relax a little bit more, let the fingers grow a little bit longer. And see if you can let them grow all the way down to the floor. So you have these big Edward Scissorhands fingers. And then when my fingers reach the floor, I see roots growing down into the ground like a tree. And I feel those roots creeping down, reaching down as far as they can into the earth. And now with each exhale, concentrate on those fingers and just think, relax. Then with the next exhale, let the fingers relax even more. Everybody's fingers down inside the earth. Awesome. Put your wrists back together. Find those wrinkles. Put your hands together and see if there's any difference. My fingers are exactly the same length now. Anybody's fingers change? Come on back down. Come on back down. Everybody's fingers change?
Good.
Yeah.
Giggle.
Tell me what happened.
Oh, Angie said,
Wait, I couldn't hear because they were laughing. What?
Deanna's response was, holy shit.
I said, I put my hands together and I saw it and I said, oh, well, shit.
Okay, so what happened there, ladies?
They were exactly the same size.
How did that happen?
Longer.
I didn't get any longer. I mean, I didn't
other.
get longer than the other one, but they were exactly the same size now.
It's not important if it got longer. What's important is that you changed the shape of your body, did you not?
Yeah.
Okay, how'd it work?
Worked nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how?
With your head.
How did it work? I was communicating with my body.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And you were elongating your fingers at the same time. You were picturing them growing and longer and moving down
Yeah, I was
further and
picturing,
further and further.
I was picturing, what was I picturing? Tree branches with.
Yes, I was.
I could basically feel my arm be heavier.
Right, me too.
My right arm got heavier. My left arm got lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, nice. Nice. So we used intangible experience to change tangible experience. You understand the importance of that, the gravity of that.
Yes.
That's the nature of mind over matter. And the body is made for that sole purpose. The body is made to match the state of your mind. Okay? So if as Bruce Lipton says, a cell has one choice, and it can either be in a state of growth or protection, right? Opening, growing, feeding, ingesting, or fear and protection, and when it does that, all of its life systems shut down. Okay? If a cell makes that decision, and then the cell shuts down or it opens and feeds and thrives, what do you think your thoughts are doing to your body?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think your thoughts are doing to your immune system?
Fucking
Crushing it.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say a bad word. I was going to say a bad word, but yes.
When you're in a cortisol response, your immune system turns off.
Yeah.
Because you don't need white blood cells to fight a tiger. Okay? When you're in a cortisol response, your digestion stops working properly. Because you need
Definitely.
the leaves in your belly, you need to run, right? All your blood gets shunted to your external appendages. So all of your viscera, all of your organs are starved of oxygen.
Right.
Now that's fine, good and dandy if the stress response is used the way it's supposed to when we see a tiger. But when we use it all the time because of our own thoughts about all the things we want and we're afraid of, and the things that we're afraid of wanting, we're in a constant state of cortisol response.
Yes.
Your body also processes fat differently when you're in a cortisol response. Your brain functions differently when you're in a cortisol response. Blood is shunted to the reptilian brain, to the hindbrain, not to the forebrain, which is the focus of like higher thought, right? And definitely peak experience and oneness is up here. And cortisol response puts your energy, your oxygen back here, right? So we have to understand that this mind over matter scenario is not philosophy. That's a thought. That's an idea. It's real. And it affects psychosomatic experience is our entire lives. It's not something that happens when you're a pill. It is your whole experience. Your whole experience is psychosomatic. Everybody understand what I mean by that? Mm-hmm. Self-fulfilling prophecy. All right. So any questions about mind over matter? Everybody get that it's real?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody on the same page? Awesome. Let's keep playing. Go back to my little thing here, and now we're going to learn about this process. Thing here. All right. Step one, unify. Step one is to unify our present experience through relaxation and sensation. What is relaxation?
When your body and your mind is at a relaxed state where you can...
You can't use a word to define a word.
You cease to...
When it's under no stress, when there is no stress, or...
Yes. The softening of tissues is relaxation. Everybody hear that?
Yes.
The reason I use that definition is because it's concrete and it's tangible. Your answer was right, Deanna, but it was a thought. It was intangible. Relaxation is the softening of muscles, tendons, and ligaments, the softening of tissues.
I was going to say it was the opposite of being tense, the tenseness of muscles.
Yes, exactly. But we don't want to define things through their opposites either. We want to define things as what they are. So that's what relaxation is. It's the softening of muscles. What is sensation?
The response.
Yes, it's a result of relaxation, but what is sensation? Feeling.
Feeling.
Sensation is
I
feeling.
think we're all afraid to say something.
It's how your mind, interprets the relaxed state. I don't know.
Sensation is how your mind interprets the information your body receives.
That's what I said. Many different words.
You have 6 senses, including the sense of balance. That is officially the 6th sense now. You have 6 senses, and every one of those senses is pulling in information. The same way my microphone is pulling in information right now. Sensation is your brain's perception of that information. Does everyone get that?
Yes.
The importance of relaxation is that it increases sensation. When we relax the body, we receive more information through our little crazy electromagnetic combustion, biomolecular, like whatever happens in our body, it happens better and faster when we're soft. The same way if you bend a water hose, it's going to slow the flow of water. Tension in the body, tension in the muscles, slows the flow of sensation. It slows the flow of information. Everybody get that?
Yep.
Yes.
First step is to unify.
Bless you.
Thank you. Is to unify through relaxation and sensation. Step 2 is to divide. Step 2 is to divide our experience into polar opposites through breath work and visualization. What is breath work?
Breathing.
Controlled breathing.
Thank you. It's not just breathing, because you're always
Controlled
breathing.
breathing.
It's controlling.
I'm not always breathing.
It's yeah,
You
right.
told me to breathe, Yvonne. Breathe.
Exactly. We're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. Okay, so breath work is controlled breathing. What is visualization?
To picture.
It's mental images.
Mental images, yes.
Mental images, and it's very important to understand. Is thought visualization?
Ooh, I pictured a calendar, and that calendar I had check marks going across
Oh, nice.
3 weeks of check marks, which stood for, no period.
Cycles, yeah.
My cycle, and then one. with
Hold on,
no-
wait. I got to come back to the camera for this. We're getting into menstruation. We're using the rhythm method.
You don't have to
Okay.
worry about me.
This is important. This is important. So I want to make my point real quick, and then I want to hear the story you were telling, Deanna. My question was, is thought visualization? Is thought the same thing as visualization? No. Why?
Intentional.
Well, it can be. It can be intentional, but that's not why it's not visualization. Why is thought not the same thing as visualization?
Because the thought doesn't have to be visualized.
A thought isn't necessarily an image.
Right.
Visualization is always an image. That's why it's the word visual, right?
I think I'm
You
sad.
have to be able.
I can't visualize sadness so much.
And as soon as you do create a visualization for sadness, it's going to change your experience of sadness.
Yeah.
That's the power of visualization. So last week in orientation, Deanna, I'll go back to me for this, and then we'll go back to her first story. Last week in our very first orientation, when we had half the group, Deanna talked about a problem she's had, I believe, all your life, Deanna?
Yes.
Of having a very strange period cycle. And when I say strange, I mean, like, did you say you had no period for like 2 years, and then you like flow for months at a time?
Yes. One time it was so bad I was flowing really heavily for about 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
And then I would go back to like not having it for 2 or 3 years.
Did you have endometriosis?
That's what they said it was.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know shit about endometriosis.
I do.
And I don't need to, because
No, you
as
don't.
she told me about her problem, I could feel in my body that it was a psychosomatic problem. And I didn't really know what psychosomatic disorders were until I started meditating, and I just started meditating every day for research I was doing for a script that I wrote. And so I didn't know about like all the things that meditation could help. I was just trying to get material for a story. And within 2 weeks, my insomnia, lifetime irritable bowel syndrome, allergies to cats, asthma, and several other problems that I'd had my whole life all went away within 2 weeks of meditating every single day. And as I studied about those problems, I realized they were all considered psychosomatic disorders, which means doctors have no idea why they happen, but they know that they're direct responses to the mind, okay? Almost all allergies, almost all allergic reactions is the body believing it's being attacked. And so it starts the process of histamines or whatever, the anti-inflammation to fight whatever the problem is. What's making the mind think it's under, or what's making the body think it's under attack?
Your brain.
The mind.
I have a perfect example of that, where I had a friend who was supposedly highly allergic to cats, and then she finds a kitten at her front door who she thinks is really cute, and she brings it in, and all of a sudden she's not allergic anymore.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Okay, so I gave Deanna homework, and I didn't actually expect her to do it, but she did. That means she's a rock star, and she got rock star results. So the homework I gave Deanna was to begin visualizing, and the word was visualize. And what's important is I didn't tell her how to visualize. I told her to begin visualize having a regular cycle daily before she goes to bed, to use that like a meditation. Now you tell me about what you did and what the results were, Deanna.
So yeah, at first I was telling Nancy, it was like, what do I do to visualize? How am I supposed to visualize that? And then I just pictured a calendar in my head. And to the calendar, the first 3 weeks were checked off, and that stood for no period. The last week was open, and that stood for a week of flow. And then I did that, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times a day. I made sure I did it even before I went to bed. And then I think maybe 1 or 2 days after I started doing that, I spotted a little bit, and then after that there was nothing. Nothing.
Awesome.
Yay!
Okay, that's profound. That's very, very profound, and your doctor could not have helped you with it. I'm sure they've been trying for a long, long time. I have no idea what endometriosis or whatever is.
Endometriosis.
But
I just yanked all my stuff out.
but apparently it's caused by your mind. Whatever it is, right? Very, very awesome, and thank you for your openness and sharing that. Perfect example, mind over matter, using intangible experience to change tangible experience. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our little booklet here. Booyah, booyah. Okay, so step 2, we're using breath work and visualization. Breath work is controlling the breath. Visualization is imagery, mental imagery. We're creating images, which ultimately you guys will realize are just symbols. Those mental images are symbols, and then the body interacts with the information contained in the symbol. Number 3, the Trinity. Step 3 is to separate our experience into feeling, meaning, and pure awareness, also known as body, mind, and spirit. So by now, I think you guys all know the difference between feeling and meaning, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Meaning is information. Meaning is opinion. Meaning is comparative. Feeling is experiential. It's literally a tangible connection to the present moment, whereas meaning is a reflection on a past moment. So in relationship to those two, anybody have an idea what awareness is?
That's what you realize that you're afraid of something, but you just, that's when you let it go. I'm aware I'm afraid of this
Being mindful.
I think it is.
Mindfulness is definitely a synonym for awareness.
About being in the moment.
Being in the moment is a way to describe it. I'm still searching for a decent definition of awareness.
You realize.
The lack of
Witnessing.
You realize. Witnessing. Did everybody hear that?
The witness.
Witnessing. Can you have a feeling if there's nothing to witness it?
No.
That's like, is there a sound if there's no one to hear it?
Right.
No, there's not. There's waves in the air, yes.
But no one picked it up.
Hears it, it's not a sound. Okay? Awareness is the witnessing. You have to witness something to have a feeling, and you have to witness something in order to create meaning. Does everybody get that?
Yes.
Witness is the medium. It's the medium that feeling and meaning happen inside of. So in step 3, we're going to separate every aspect of our experience. This is either a feeling, this is a meaning, or this is me witnessing something. And the witness can witness witnessing as well, which is a rabbit hole. That's when you really get to meditating there. It's the hall of mirrors. Okay, step 4, center. Step 4 is to find the center point in which all of these experiences blend together in absolute harmony. How would you define center?
No boundaries?
Nope.
No?
Where they all come together, but they're not disrupting your life.
That's not a bad description.
It's where you're able to balance all of them.
Center is the balancing point of
Yeah.
any given thing or experience. The center is the point around which everything rotates if something is thrown. The center is the point of origin. So what is harmony?
They're all
Peace.
balanced. Isn't harmony balanced? Peace.
I think of
Well, you
harmony.
find harmony when you're balanced.
Think in terms of sound. What is harmony?
Quiet.
No, they all fit together.
That would make for a really bad symphony, wouldn't it?
Really?
In my world, it would be nice.
Quiet music right there.
Harmony is two or more notes that go together without dissonance.
Yes, that's a music theorist definition.
Yes, it is.
Harmony is things surfing the same wave. It's things coming into frequency together.
That's kind of what I said. That's what I
It's,
said.
it's,
Without
it's,
dissonance,
it's exactly
without
what you
dissonance. Yeah.
said. You just said it like Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
We have to say it like
He was technical.
It's okay for a blonde.
like
yeah.
Nora. That's not bad for a blonde.
Yeah, fake blonde.
Harmony is resonance. Okay? Resonance is two energies having a relationship to each other. Okay? Harmony is tantra. Harmony is the wuji of yin and yang, and then the wuji. Harmony is things coming back together. And entrainment is the nature of all things in reality. If things are in the ocean and the ocean starts bobbing, all those things bob together. That's harmony. And then step 5, release. Step 5 is to release every boundary and every distinction as it arises, keeping awareness free in timeless presence and effortless being. What does release mean?
Let go.
Let go.
Let go. What does boundary mean?
Confinement. It holds you in a place.
Right. It's a distinction. It's a division between one thing and another.
A wall.
Right. So all we're going to do is release every distinction that we create as we create it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. We're a little bit over time now. Does anybody need to go?
I think. Well, hold
No,
on.
I've got a few more minutes, I think.
How many is a few?
I don't know, 5, 10. What time is it? Let me see.
Deanna's ride is here.
Okay. So I'm going to
I have about 5 more minutes.
5 minutes. All right. So,
Matt, sit in the corner.
okay. So I was going to take you guys. So what we just did is we covered the 5 steps of effortless being conceptually. Right?
Mhm.
Yes.
That was all thoughts.
Mhm.
Right? We haven't had an experience
Other than
since
our
we
hands.
since we changed our size of our fingers.
Right.
That was the last experience we had.
Right.
So I just went through an overview of that as thought. The next step is that I'm going to take you through each one of those steps experientially. But I can't do that in 5 minutes, so we're going to wait until next week to do that.
Okay.
Is that okay for everybody?
Yeah.
We're going to do that next week. Look at the 5 steps we just covered logically, and imagine that you can actualize each of these symbols in the same way we just actualized changing the shapes of our fingers. And imagine if seeing these images in your mind could actually change your state of being, the same way imagining branches change the shape of your fingers. Can everyone imagine that being possible?
Yes.
Awesome. So what I'm going to end with is another parable, one of my favorites, and it's about an old monk. Once upon a time, there was an old monk walking down a muddy road with a young monk. Soon they came upon a lady in a nice dress stuck on one side of the road. The old monk picked the young woman up and carried her to the other side. Hours later, upon arriving back at the temple, the young monk finally let his thoughts get the best of him and said, "We are sworn never to touch women. How could you touch her like that and just pretend it never happened? The old monk said, settle down, grasshopper. I put that girl down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
What's the moral of that story?
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Don't keep carrying something that you don't need to carry.
Is there anything that we need to carry?
No.
I've yet to find anything, and I've been looking for a while, and the more I release, the lighter I feel. Okay, so this whole process, and here are the steps that we're going to use to actualize these experiences. Right, very simple steps. Each one should only take 10 to maybe 20 seconds a piece or something like that. But then we're going to have to talk about each experience. So we're going to save those till next week, and we will wrap up by can you see me?
Yep.
Yeah, now we can.
Awesome. Okay, so let's do a little close. And anybody have anything to share about what you experienced this evening?
I think it's affirmation for me, just with stuff that I have done and have been doing between Reiki and meditating on my own with my own stresses in life, with school, midterms are coming up and all of that, and just being very aware. I cannot change a test. I can't change the grade that I'm going to get on this test, so let it go.
You can't change a professor.
I can't, yes, and I can't change that I'm a perfectionist.
Yes, you can. I'll teach you.
Yes. So being mindful for me, just being very mindful and not carrying it, letting it go and saying, I can't change it. So why carry it? It's too much baggage.
And that's where the whole idea of acceptance gets its power from. And
That's why I like the serenity prayer, because it talks about acceptance and letting go.
yeah, but it's hoping. It's hoping. It's wishing. Once upon a time, right? And I'm not interested.
There's the desire.
I'm not interested in wishing or praying for anything.
It's not a prayer.
Say it. Say it.
Okay. The God of my understanding, grant me the serenity to accept the thing. Okay, I'm going blank.
To accept the things I cannot, to change the things I can, and accept the things I cannot.
And have the wisdom to know the difference.
To the wisdom that, right.
So,
Right. The prayer, asking for things in the future.
Yeah.
You're
You're asking someone to give you permission to do those things
That you can already do.
that you can already do.
Exactly. So the intention of the serenity prayer is beautiful.
yeah.
But it's not.
That's how I interpret it then.
Right,
'Cause
but
I'm not praying for anything. I'm just trying to re-educate myself on how I deal with things that I can or cannot change.
the serenity prayer is how all of spirituality has dealt with God and peace for all of eternity.
You're going to get your power from someplace else.
It's like we gotta wait till that. We gotta pray to that. We gotta do this. We gotta get.
Right.
Gotta give me some money. You gotta like whatever. I'm not interested in any of that, and I don't have any problem with any of that. I'm not judging any of that. I'm not interested in it because it doesn't empower you. It makes you wait and hope and pray. Okay? Prayer is beautiful, and it can make changes the same way meditation can. I'm not concerned about praying. I'm concerned about changing experience right now, and acceptance is the key. The key to that key is realizing it's nothing you pray for. It's nothing you hope for. It's nothing you have to spend 15 years training. Acceptance is a decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? The moment you decide to accept something, you stop struggling with it.
You heal.
The 15 years is just however long it happens to take you to decide to accept it. But acceptance happens like that. It's a decision. And the more mystical you pretend acceptance is, the longer you make your journey. And the more mountains you're going to have to climb.
Right.
But if you understand, acceptance is just like focus. Focus isn't magic. It's a decision. Ta-da! Right? I learned that when I was 15 years old doing mime. I wasn't hired as a mime. I was hired to juggle. And I got bored juggling. So I just decided I was going to freeze. and people were way more interested in a frozen dude.
Yes.
And why? Because they're like, is that dude real?
Yeah.
How can you stand there and not move?
Yeah.
Is he? Right? They were fascinated by it, and I couldn't stop doing it because I was fascinated by how I was able to stay frozen for 20 and 30 minutes with no experience meditating. And I was like, how come I can do this? And it's because I grew up in the circus and learned to train. And training is you just make a decision and you do it. You do repetitions. So nobody ever beat me in the staring contest, and I was just having a staring contest with myself. Right? It's a decision. And the more you take responsibility for that decision, the easier you can make it. Everybody get that?
Yes.
And we'll have a tangible experience of that. We were supposed to have it tonight, but as you can see, this was a whole lot of information, and I don't feel like any of it was wasted.
No, absolutely not. Neither do I. Absolutely not.
So we'll begin having that tangible experience next time. Did anybody else have anything they would like to share? Bonus points for sharing, because I'm sick of nobody having anything to say.
All right, sharing. So case in point would be tonight. At the last minute, I was asked to watch my grandchildren, who I love. I'm happy to do it. It's supposed to be for 30 minutes. And then we have this. And guess what? The person to replace me wasn't showing up. And I'm like, oh my God, when do I have the laptop? And I'm stressed. Unbelievable. I could not enjoy my grandchildren because all I worried about was how am I going to get here and set up, because I didn't know she had her laptop with her. But I was doing that to myself. It wasn't going to change anything. Nobody was going to die. But rather than saying, I'm just going to bring my laptop to Angie, she's going to set it up, I just got unbelievably stressed and missed an hour of having a good time with my grandkids.
Right. Stress, worry, fear pull you out of your present experience.
Yes.
And you miss whatever's happening. And then you have to try it and ineffectually reflect on it later.
But how do I teach myself not to do that?
Because it's our natural response to go into the fight or the flight. So that's the automatic response that we go to. And it's working with ourselves to learn how to notice what our body is doing and catch it and say, I'm not going to go there. Being mindful of what you're feeling, what's coming, and then saying, okay, I'm going to visualize myself not giving that any more attention and actually closing your eyes. I mean, that's what has really been helping me lately, is just visualizing and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to picture myself. I'm going to visualize myself. This is what's going to happen when I walk in the door and I get hit with this. This is what I'm going to do. And it helps so much. For me, it's a calming state. It's breathe, let it go. There's nothing I can do to change it.
That's what I call seeing it to be it. See it to be it.
Thank you as well, Angie. Thank you, Nancy. Either of you ladies have anything to share about what you experienced? Yes.
Well, I was stressed on the way over here because I didn't think I was going to make it by 5:30.
Everybody was late. Oh my goodness. I figured you'd be a little bit late, but it didn't hurt nothing.
1 minute.
And you still made it to the. You still made it for the orientation. Okay, so this was far more important information than any of you can possibly comprehend right now. And so between now and next week, I was going to give you homework, but we didn't get to do the stuff that your homework was going to be. So your homework is to watch this at least one time before next week, because there's more important things in this than I can even mention. Just the definition of emotion alone will change how you experience your emotion. Just the idea of the witness alone will change how you experience your sensations and the meanings you create. And everything you were just talking about, Nancy, was only possible because of a witness perspective, because of seeing everything from a third perspective rather than from your own internal self-interested perception, right? All of these ideas visualization, sensation, relaxation, every one of these are very, very important terms. And we're going to actualize all of them through an experience and not keep them up here in our mind. And we're going to do it next week when we come back. And you guys are welcome to come back as well. And we will have much more experience next week than idea and meaning. But we had to get this ground basis because now everybody is playing the same sport. Okay, now we're all on the same page. Now we're all reading the same playbook, and we can now play this game together. And it's going to be a wicked awesome game, and it's going to shift your experience quickly. And my goal is that when we're done, none of you gives a shit about any of your baggage. That's what I'm shooting for. Like, you know, and if you
It's ongoing baggage.
skills to help with it, but I don't think it's gonna matter.
No more grocery bags.
No more grocery bags. So thank all of you very much, and hopefully everybody can make it back again next week. If not, you can watch the videos, and
Nice meeting you
tune in.
guys.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you guys. Sorry we went over. Tell your rides I
We're
apologize.
sorry.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
All right.